Hello, the internet. Welcome to the Breakfast Club with Got That Funk. Thanks for joining me. I wanted to let you guys know that the recent round-robin discussions would have ended yesterday with Sword Sage. However, Sister Danger missed her turn because she was away when it would have rolled around to be her turn last time. And she is coming back to make a video for the Breakfast Club tomorrow, so I have said to her, why don't you introduce a topic for the group to discuss since she missed it last time. And then when she comes back again, which unfortunately won't be the following week, but it might be the week after that, then she'll obviously do the wrap-up at that point. But I have no idea what she's going to introduce, and I'm looking forward to getting her back on the channel, though, a bit more frequently. Anyway, this is going to be a bit of a standalone video. It's not really meant to initiate a group discussion, since Sister Danger is going to be doing that tomorrow. But I very much wanted to talk about TakeAKnee. Most people watching this video contemporaneously will know what the TakeAKnee demonstrations have been about. However, since the video is going to be up for a long time after this is current news, I thought I'd better just elaborate a little bit for those who don't already know. About a year ago, Colin Kaepernick, who was a 49ers quarterback, started to kneel during the national anthem prior to the games because he wanted to bring attention to the fact that the nation isn't really talking about something that needs to be talked about, and that is that police officers, for several years now, have been getting away with murdering unarmed civilians. And to date, to my knowledge, when it comes to unarmed black people getting shot by the police in America, I can't think of a single instance in the past 5 years where the police officer who shot the person has had to go to jail, or even most of them don't even get to court. And it raises an important issue about racial disparities in the criminal justice system, in policing in general. And these issues do vigorously need to be talked about, and I will probably be talking about the issues themselves in a future Breakfast Club video, or perhaps on my own channel. But for the moment, I want to talk specifically about the demonstrations and some of the reactions to the demonstrations. Now, Colin Kaepernick started doing this last year as a peaceful protest. It didn't take long before they stopped letting him play to try to sort of get him to, toe the line. But it didn't really work, and so Kaepernick wasn't really playing for quite some time, and he still hasn't been playing yet this year. And other athletes earlier in the football season this year decided to also take a knee during the national anthem. And then Trump, having seen this on television, decided to basically say that they should be fired. He even called them sons of bitches if they took a knee. And when Trump said that, the following Sunday, over 250 NFL players and also some basketball players and people in other sports decided to kneel during the national anthem. They're not protesting the flag. They're not protesting the anthem. They're not protesting America. They're not disrespecting the soldiers who have fought and or died for America. In fact, the opposite is true. People who serve this country serve to protect the Constitution, not the flag. And the Constitution gives you the right to peacefully protest, which is exactly what these athletes are doing. And of course, as you probably imagine, it has my full support. The issues that they're trying to raise are important, and people do need to talk about it openly and candidly. And the fact that these demonstrations make so many people uncomfortable, for my money, just goes to show that many people don't want to have that conversation because it is uncomfortable to talk about. They don't want to confront the possibility that maybe some of the things that people are saying about the disparities in the criminal justice system are true, and maybe there is such a thing as white privilege. They don't want to think that, because they think it's implicit that if white privilege exists, then that, being white, you must be racist, because, well, no, having white privilege doesn't make you racist. But that's a topic for a completely different video. Suffice to say that these conversations need to be taking place honestly, without all the bullshit that you get in internet conversations about these topics. The fact is that the cops are getting away with murder, and we need to talk about it. We need to try to do something to, if not stop it from happening, to lessen it so it doesn't happen quite so fucking often, because there's way too many examples of this happening just in the past 5 years. Now, yesterday being Sunday, which is when most football games are played in the United States, a lot of players decided, of course, to kneel. Some knelt before the national anthem, some knelt during the national anthem. And Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence, decided to go to his home state of Indiana and watch the Indiana Colts play the San Francisco 49ers. Keeping in mind, the 49ers, even though Kaepernick's not currently throwing the ball for the 49ers, that's the team where this whole TakeAKnee demonstration wave started. And so Mike Pence had to know before he went to that game that athletes would be kneeling during the national anthem, at the very least in the 49ers side of the field. He had to know that. He absolutely had to know that before he went. Now, Mike Pence was in Las Vegas before he went to the game. He took a giant military plane to Indiana, a plane that cost over $42,000 an hour to fly, 2.5-hour flight from Vegas to Indianapolis. He went to the game and promptly left during the national anthem because he said he wasn't going to tolerate watching players disrespect the anthem and the flag and all that kind of bullshit that they want to try to make this protest about, when that's not what it's about at all. Now, here's the thing. Like I say, he had to know that they were going to be kneeling. He had to know when he got there that he was going to leave straight afterwards. And if the fact that the players were going to definitely kneel isn't enough evidence for that, the other fact that we have to consider is Mike Pence had a fundraiser to go to in California that he could not have made it to in time if he stayed to watch the entire game. So he never planned to stay in the first place. He took a jet, which cost $42,000 plus an hour, 2.5 hours to Indianapolis, sat down at the game for fucking 30 minutes or whatever, and then left again, to fly to a fundraiser in LA that evening. $42,000 an hour plus 3.5-hour flight from Indianapolis to LA. Think about that. Him going from Vegas to Indianapolis and Indianapolis to LA cost taxpayers over $250,000. At $42,000 an hour, that plane costs more than 50% of Americans make in a tax year. Per hour. Yeah? $42,000 is enough to feed 2 welfare families for a year. And he wasted that much per hour to pull off some kind of stunt. It was a basic, obvious, blatant political publicity stunt. You know, Donald Trump told him to leave if they disrespected the anthem or the flag. No, the whole thing was set up from the beginning. And that's clearly evident from the fact that he had this fundraiser to go to and he couldn't have made it if he stayed for the game. What's more evident that it was a setup was the fact that when he tweeted about this on Twitter, he posted a photograph of him and his wife supposedly enjoying the game before the anthem went off. And it turned out within minutes, you can't get away with this kind of shit on Twitter. People found out that the picture he posted of his wife and himself at the game was actually from a game that they attended in 2014, 3 years ago. It's complete bullshit. The whole thing is complete bullshit. The Trump administration, in general, is trying to play the people for fools. Okay? I can't believe that the media hasn't jumped all over the fact that this was a political publicity stunt. Here in the UK, I was going to work this morning. I was reading The Independent, which, used to be a center-left newspaper. And when they reported on this incident, they made no mention whatsoever that it was possibly a publicity stunt. No, it was all about Mike Pence, standing for what he thought was right with the support of the president and all this kind of bullshit. Now, The Independent, being a foreign newspaper, they've got no need to toe the line with the administration, but they did. I can't even. I'm so pissed off with the fact that some people fall for this shit. How far have we sunk? It's not okay. It's not okay that black people are getting shot in the streets by the cops and the cops are facing no consequences. That's not okay. It's not okay that the President of the United States cares more about whether or not players are standing for the fucking national anthem than people starving and dying in Puerto Rico. It's not okay that the Vice President makes this political publicity stunt wasting $250,000 taxpayer dollars for what? What did you get out of it? Nothing. What do they get out of it? Some suckers are going to believe them. That's what. And I suppose to them that makes it worth it. Hey, it's only taxpayer money. They don't have to pay for it. This shit should incense anybody, whether you're on the left or right. This kind of waste of expenditure should insult you. This blatant publicity stunt should insult you, left or right. I don't really think there's an awful lot of room for thinking that this is okay. But what do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. I look forward to hearing what you've got to say, and I'll also be back to talk about whatever Sister Danger brings up in her video tomorrow. I'm looking forward to getting her back on the channel more frequently. I want to thank you guys for joining me. And until next time, may all your ups and downs be ups.